All right, hey everyone, welcome to Nerd Age's first miniature painting video. Usually we're doing movie reviews and stuff like that, but I got this interesting gift for Christmas from Jonah actually, and it's this. Let me show you guys. I've got this Swavain Basilisk. This is for Dungeons and Dragons specifically. I can put on this camera to see if it looks a little better. Yeah, but it is a cool basilisk that's kind of coming out of the water. So I was gonna do a little unboxing, and I also am gonna try to paint it. As you can see, there's some paints over here. Got some brushes. I'm not the best miniature painter. I'm quite amateur. But I really enjoy it, and I find it to be like very therapeutic. So let's go ahead and just open this up. Like I said, I'm not a professional. I just think it's cool to kind of see what it's like when you have this plain white mini, like this gray mini, and then to see it become fully painted. I don't care if you're, fully amateur or an absolute professional. Like, there's always going to be a very big, very big change and transformation. So basic plastic packaging. Throw this over here. This is kind of what it looks like. Let's see if this camera gets it better. I think this camera gets it a lot better. So it's this kind of snaky kind of basilisk kind of cool thing. And as of right now, it might not look the most amazing. I do like the details in the face. And I like how it looks like it has scales and stuff like that. But it also has this like a transparent bottom here. And I'm not sure how to do that actually. So I'm going to assume you're supposed to use a wash on the bottom here, because I do want it to look like water. Oh, that's really good. So these pieces actually come off. That's great. So when I'm working on them, I don't have to get this all... I was hoping I didn't have to like tape this off. So we'll put this aside for now. But the pieces that we're going to be working on are these two, the actual main pieces of it. So... yeah, so I guess we'll get right into it. The next part is basically choosing a color scheme. So if you just quickly, what I like to do is I'll like to kind of either, if I didn't have like a straight up idea like right now, I would basically search it. So basilisk. I like to look up pictures of existing basilisks and kind of see like what art. So this looks like, I mean, you got the Harry Potter, like the dark blue / green. You've got the full green. Looks like there's a lot of different greens, blue and green and tan. I like this one right here. See if you can see that. I like that. That's pretty cool. I like the kind of aquamarine with purple. So I think I'm gonna go after kind of that look. So I'm gonna have this as like a reference, and when I'm looking at stuff, because now we have to pick a color scheme. So what we're gonna do is, what I like to do is I like to just look at the library of what are similar. I want to get as close as possible to these colors. So this is actually orc blood. That's not right. And like I said, guys, I haven't painted in like a year. So some of these paints like need a lot of mixing. But we got this grimoire purple. Thinking that might work. We're looking for like an aqua blue. So this is called Void Shield Blue. That might work if I have a green with it. So we want a green. And I'll tell you what, the way I paint, I use washes, and I'm not going to be like hand shadow painting everything. Like I'm not going to paint all the shadows. I'm going to be using a wash. So I like to start bright and then I will tone down. And then once I do the wash, then I'll do the highlights manually. So I like this green because it's nice and bright. I do have a darker green. I actually have a lot of greens, like a goblin green, which is nice and dark. But I'm going to keep it that lighter one because it's harder to go lighter. It's a lot easier to go darker. So I'll usually use this. I'll mix it with something, make it go darker with the wash, and then I'll use this as the highlight, or maybe add a little bit of white to kind of highlight it. But, all right, so there's our pieces. This right here is a wet palette, but it's a makeshift one. This is a paper plate. We got some wax paper on top, and then a paper towel that has water in it. So it's keeping the surface just slightly damp so that the paint, when I put it down, lasts for like hours and hours and hours. Got some water here as I spill it all. That is going to be for basically, you know, washing the brush, and or if I need to water something down, I can do that too. I guess I'll just use my sleeve here. What a mess. What a mess. But yeah, so we'll have that. So colors, now I just need like a yellowish tan color. Let's see here what I've got. This is called demonic yellow. I don't think this is the kind of yellow that we want, but I'm not sure I have anything better. That's the problem with this. So I think this yellow is gonna have to be watered down with white. Probably. Let me see if there's like a tan. Oh, this is actually pretty good. This is called skeleton bone, but it's like almost a brown, like a gray brown. Might just do that actually. I think that looks like a good color scheme right here. So you can kind of see these 4 colors right here on the camera. So we're gonna go with skeleton bone, jungle green. Now I can put them up so you can kind of see what they look like next to each other. But there you go. That's gonna be the color scheme. It's gonna be like purple from the top, then bluish, greenish, and then the tan. So it's gonna go like this, basically. The tan's gonna be the underside of the basilisk, and that's kind of that's how you set up and kind of initially plan for painting minis. Then the next part is probably going to be a montage or basically a time lapse of me kind of going through the motions of painting this beast. It looks like it's pre-primed, so that's nice. So I don't have to prime it myself. So what I typically do, we'll just go through this and cover it with a nice base coat, and then we'll get on with it. So yeah, let's get to it. I like to dip it in the water to kind of water it down a little bit to help me mix better. Looks like the green is kind of overwhelming the blue by a long shot. Just kind of flying around with it. More water, more green. More water, more green, more brown. Kind of want to marry it together. Now we have this kind of brown green, greenish brown color, which I'm putting under the neck. That should be nice, kind of melding it in. I can't really show you, but not bad. And I think this is something that, you know, as it dries, you start really seeing what's happening here. I'm really just working on I'm really just working on melding the colors together. See how it's not as stark anymore. Like a brown green. Right? Kind of the intent. You know, every time I do, like almost every time I do a paint, a mini painting, I will change the color like based on like how it's mixing with the other colors. I'll be like, oh, that actually starts to look really good if I just add this or that. And so that's why I'm never like hard set on, you know, that initial decision we made at the beginning with the color palette. Like it's good to like initially have a direction, but it's also a good idea to just not be like married to it completely and, you know, keep your options open. If the colors call to you, you know, answer them back. So stupid. But yeah. So yeah, we'll just keep going around here. Nice little color change there. Nice. It's not the best way to show you guys, but I'm trying. I'm using my camera webcam up here, which looks really good, by the way. And then my camera right here. Okay, cool. Let those two dry for a little bit. I'm gonna get my brush clean. I'll be right back. I totally forgot to get some paper towels. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Paper towels, paper towels, paper towels. Very important when it comes to painting. Kind of stupid that I didn't have that. It's been a while. It's been like a year. So I'm gonna clean off this brush. Okay. Perfect. And you can sometimes just blow on it to kind of expedite it. If you're really in a huge hurry, I've done hair blowers, hair dryers. I'm thinking purple tongue, by the way, for this tongue. I've got a feeling when I put this purple on, it's gonna make this thing pop. It's gonna be cool. I want this purple. So if you don't mix paint completely when it's been sitting for a long time, it tends to separate and it becomes water and the actual paint itself will be separated. And so when you put it on, sometimes it'll be like shiny, or you want it matte. You know, if you want it shiny, there's like clear coats and stuff you can put on it. I've done that before. You live and you learn, right? So we have these blues, we have our purple here. I'm gonna put it over on this side because this is gonna be the new part where, honestly, I should put some of the blue over there too. I'm gonna put a little bit of blue in it. A little bit of blue. And I think this is the part of the painting where I get detailed. I have a pretty small brush here. Can't really see it too well, but that's the problem with minis. Everything is so small. It's hard to get it to come up on the camera. It's like when I bring this up, it should be focusing, but it's not. Yeah. Who knows? Anyway. Okay, time to mix that purple with a little bit of blue. Just a little bit. Probably not going to see any difference, but it's a good start. I'm going to start on the back end here. Now, at the first part of this paint, I was being very speedy. I was just flying through. On this part, I'm going to be taking more time because this is such a different color than the greens that it's going to be harder to cover up if I mess up. So yeah, I'm just going to try to do my best to kind of keep it within the lines here. I'm telling you guys, it might not look great right now, but all the magic happens at the end. It really is true. It's such a weird thing. When it comes to dry brushing or highlight brushing or the wash, it fills in all those shadows. It makes this mini, it's gonna make this mini feel alive and have a lot of character. As of right now, you know, it looks like a dollar store paint job, you know. But once I get those shadows in there and the highlights, ooh baby, that's where you start seeing things come alive. So this part right here, doing the details, this is the part where people kind of quit out. You know, it's too much work, takes too much patience, you know, it's too small, it's hard to do, whatever. But I think this is super satisfying. I wonder if any of you guys out there ever, when you got toys and stuff like that, ever looked at like to see like how they were painted. Like for me, I did. When I was a kid, I would like look at like a Power Ranger or like some action toy like a G.I. Joe or something like that. And I would see, oh, was this just dyed or was it actually painted? And I thought it was all pretty interesting. Okay, I need to get a little bit of stability here. So when I need stability, I usually put my arms like on each other or on the table. So like both arms right now are like against the table so that my hands aren't shaking. You might think, yeah, you have to have like really still fingers or hands, but no, you don't. You can stabilize it by just putting your hands against the table or something. Some people kind of use their hands against each other like this and paint, but because it's such a big piece, I can't really do that. So I'm just gonna be painting it on the table basically. I just wish I could give you guys a little bit better of a view. I guess that's better. Some more in. Okay. Like I said, this is a first for me. I've never really painted a mini on camera ever before, so I don't know what works or what doesn't work. I think I'm gonna like label this like painting a mini the first time in years painting a mini or something like that, like painting my first mini in X amount of years or whatever. But I really do feel like I'm, you know, getting back into it and kind of relearning again the little details, you know, things that I had already learned before but have to relearn now. You know, if I was more impatient, I could probably use a bigger brush here. I actually kind of wish I had a little bit. I used to have a red brush. I don't know where it went. I might have lost it. But it's bigger than this brush. Bigger than this brush. But smaller than that blue one. Because it's taking a little longer to kind of fill this area in. Let me see. See if I have anything else that could work. This might work. I mean, it's definitely bigger. Maybe that's what I should do. I should just use a bigger brush to do like the outside. And then bring that smaller one in to do like the edges. Kind of like when you're painting a wall, right? You have like a roller to do the big areas, and then you do it by hand for the edges. Or you just tape it out like a boss. Yeah, this is making it go a lot faster with the bigger brush. Oh yeah. Not as good detail, but it puts the paint on. I think this is the play. Boom, like see, I'm already done with covering it purple. So now I'm gonna grab this guy, small guy, and then get in here. It definitely is a little awkward having a camera. Like, I don't know where to hold it exactly, but hope you guys enjoy it. Maybe it's super boring, I don't know, but for me it's just relaxing, and it's a really rewarding thing to do as well. You know, a lot of things that I work on is digital art, digital graphic design, and my favorite stuff is when we make merchandise that, you know, has that physical form, you know. So, you know, I'm liking it so far. I like the color scheme. Looks a little cartoony right now, but we'll bring in the darkness soon enough. Let me just double check the lines here. Make sure I didn't miss anything big. We're doing all right here. We are doing all right. You know, this week is basically Nerd Age week. Like we're putting out a lot of videos this week. It's pretty crazy. Like between all the reviews and the news videos, it's been cool. And it's just awesome seeing you guys out there, you know, hang out with us and interact with us. It means so much to us because, like, this podcast is born out of friendship and just kind of wanting like an excuse to hang out with the boys, you know, and friends. And, you know, if you guys aren't here in Spokane, or, you know, you can't hang out with us in person, you know, watching our videos or listening to the podcast is the next best thing, you know. I know a lot of friends of mine who've moved away, and we only see them like once or twice a week, you know, or once or twice a week. That's not that. It's so rough not seeing them once or twice a week. No, once or twice a year. And so it's cool to be able to like help them still feel connected to home. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's cool. I think it's a very unique circumstance to be in, and you know, we could have got just 10 views. You know, it could have been our wives watching it, and that's it. But you know, I couldn't be happier at, you know, seeing videos like our Arcane review hitting 1,000 views a couple days ago. It's just so cool to see that happen, and to know that like people at least find some of it interesting, you know. I think that's so dope. But you never know. Me doing this painting might scare everyone away. But yeah, it's been a really big blessing. I've been very amazed at how the videos have done and the podcasts. You know, we get most of our views from YouTube, and you know, I don't think anyone was really planning on doing YouTube. I think everyone was like, we're just going to do a podcast, that's it. But But I know I knew the potential of YouTube, and I said, guys, you guys mind if we just put it on YouTube? And they were okay with it. And I got a kind of nicer camera, and I said, hey, do you guys mind if your face is on YouTube? They were okay with that. And slowly but surely, I've secretly turned them into YouTubers. Not really. I just edit the podcast so they work well with YouTube, or work better. Okay, that's it for the big boy. I think we're going to... Actually, I did say I wanted to do the tongue purple. I want to do the tongue purple, so let's do the tongue purple. I hate painting like the insides of things. It's always so awkward. I really watered down this purple. If you guys can see it, you guys can't see it very well. It's so difficult. Yeah, I watered down my purple so it looks kind of like textured. We'll see if I keep it that light, but we'll see. Okay, now let's get to the back to the smaller brush. We need these lines to be more detailed here. Need to make sure this fits all the way up to the edge. And when you paint, you know, whether you guys are looking into painting or just kind of curious to what it is, you know, when I'm doing this, you know, it's a lot of trial and error, you know. And even the errors aren't even errors, you know what I mean? Like, everything's fixable, you know? There's not really, oh my gosh, you ruined the mini, I can't believe you painted it like that, or whatever. It's like, you can always paint over it. And if you're fast enough, you can wipe it off, you know, before it dries. And that's nice. It's kind of stress-free. I think the only stressful part about this is kind of making sure that the camera sees it. I'm probably messing it up a ton, but I am prioritizing me actually painting it over the camera. So I don't know why it's not focusing on the guy. Like that's where it focuses, right there. But I gotta hold a little bit higher, you know, for me to be able to paint it. Oh yeah. I am trying to do it faster though. I will say that I take it pretty slow when I'm just doing it by myself. I like to paint in the living room, on our kitchen table, or our dinner table. Lots of good sunlight there. I love painting in the sunlight. It's very nice. But we are painting in the office right now. I have the windows open. A lot of sunshine is coming in. That's nice. So I'm wondering what color these eyes should be. I'm thinking about just making them, oh, maybe that tan color. Not too sure on the eyes. Looking good. Little purple, green, tan action there. Looking cool. You know this looks like the Rugrats dinosaur. Rexstar. Or Rexstar? That's the color scheme. I first thought, I was like, does this look like Barney? I'm like, no, it's not Barney. Barney was like all purple. But this is like Rexstar. That's what the color scheme is. Totally unintentional. Oh my gosh. And only right now does it look like kind of kiddie-ish, like 90s kiddie, you know? Promise you guys, it's gonna get darker, it's gonna get a lot cooler. About 20 minutes. Maybe. Depends on how long that mouth takes, honestly. The mouth, oof. The mouth is very detailed on this mini. You can tell this is where like all the details are. This mouth with the teeth and the schnoz and the eyeballs and all that. You can tell that like when you buy like toys and stuff like that and they're painted, you can see where, or you can understand why they cut corners, because it just takes so darn long to do some really fine edge work. Like what I'm doing right now. It's like, if I saw a toy that was pretty lazy on the line work, I'd be like, I get it. I get it. I know how long that takes. You know? But it also gives me a great appreciation for when a miniature is like really painted well and it's really finely done, you know? You're almost done with this back fin. So I've been looking at it from the side basically this whole time. This side, this side. Now I gotta look at it from this to see if there's any missing center edges. And when you look at it from a different angle, you can see spots that you might have missed. So I'm seeing a little bit of spots here. And I have to make a decision, you know. Am I going to be absolutely perfect, or do I want to kind of get going? Because once I put that wash over the top, it's going to kind of fill out some of these little lips, these little divots. And it'll make it darker, and it'll kind of make up for mistakes. It really is the magic sauce of painting minis. And I know hardcore mini painters are going to be like, oh, don't do washes, it's lazy, but I just really enjoy it, so I do it. For these fins, I'm going to do purple. Looking good. Looking real good. Yeah, as you guys have kind of heard from previous podcasts, I'm probably the most nerdy out of everyone. I think I play the most video games. I play the most Dungeons and Dragons. I play in about two or three different games. I watch all the same movies as everyone else. Big superhero fan. But I think painting minis is probably one of the nerdiest things I do. Because, you know, watching superhero movies isn't nerdy anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it is nerdy, but it's like, it's not lame or weird to do, you know? It's like very normalized now. And so I actually pride myself on the nerdy things I do. I really enjoy them. I love painting minis. It's so fun. It is time consuming, as you guys can see. Basically almost been an hour so far, and you know, we're just you know, we're almost done with the base coat. So I've got a feeling that this mini is going to take me 2 hours to do total time, start to finish. I'm also not really sure what I'm going to be doing with that semi-transparent base, the water base. Thinking just a blue wash maybe. Because a wash is basically ink that is transparent. That's ink with water in it basically. And it does a good job at kind of letting the things underneath it be seen. So I think that's the play. Okay, cool. So we got the fins purpled out. Fins purpled out. The tongue is kind of purpled out. I think the inside of the mouth needs to be darker. Do a couple purple details here. Kind of doing some little horn details with purple. That's the kind of color we've committed to here. I think it looks cool. And then the teeth. So the teeth, yeah, I think we're gonna go. I think we're gonna grab some black. All right, so here's some matte black. So I say with the matte black, we gotta be careful with black because black destroys everything. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I probably should have done the inside of the mouth first. But I'm gonna do the inside of the mouth a very dark purple. So how do we do dark purple? We add a little bit of black to it. And when I say little, I mean very little. So you can kind of see on that tongue, see that circle there? That was a bubble that dried. I kind of messed up brushing that. See if I can fix that. Okay, so I'm gonna get purple, a little bit of black, put it right there, some purple. I'm kind of just mixing it together. Let me put it over here. Can't really see it too well. My camera doesn't zoom in enough, but just trust me, this is a very dark purple. Man, my buddy James, he I think it was for my birthday or like a Christmas gift or something like that. Can't remember. It was like a year or two ago. But he backed this Kickstarter. And it was this miniature Kickstarter. Basically, is this group of guys who 3D modeled and made these really cool minis. And they were just starting out. They're like, hey, you can buy this for like 40 bucks. And it's a pack of all these assorted high fantasy miniatures. And James was like, dude, I got you this. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. And as they hit their stretch goals, it started out at like 40 minis or something like that. And now it's like, it went up to like over 100. At least, maybe 200 minis for $40. Isn't that crazy? The catch is that I think they had them printed in China, and with all the issues with COVID and all the issues with shipping, it's been delayed like a ton. Like they're done, they're just sitting like in a dock somewhere. There's like not riots, but there was like boycotts and stuff like that going on at like the dock guys, probably because they're being overworked probably. But yeah, there's all sorts of crazy delays for that Kickstarter. But man, when I get that box of minis, I'm gonna do an unboxing that like none other. It's gonna be so cool. I'm so hyped for that. I can't remember the company name, but I will get those details when we get closer to that moment in life. Definitely going to do a video on that for sure. Okay, you can kind of see the difference in color. Oh man, it's so hard. It's like a very dark purple in there, see? Perfect, perfect. It's tough with these little details, man. I'm telling you what. I'll tell you what. This is a tougher one to do. I hate doing these little like crevices. Man, oh man. It's tough work out here, guys. inside and the lip area. Basically like, yeah, basically the lip and the gums. I believe I'm getting it though pretty good. That's good. Making mistakes though. Making little tiny mistakes here and there. They all start adding up, but like I said before, it's okay. Because we still have that green. We can go back and clean up. You know? That's good. I made the choice. I made this active choice to make the different colors for the gums and the tongue, which it should be, but yeah, I chose this life. And I should have done this first. You live and you learn. Because I'm gonna have to let this dry and then the teeth. Yeah, that's looking pretty good actually though. Sweet. Looking good. Can't really see it too well because it is shadowy, but sweet. Let's see if this camera can see it better. It's like a darker purple, then a lighter purple. Pretty cool. I'm still not sure what I want to do with the eyes. I'm gonna bring up the packaging. Oh, interesting. So see, this is why I like to make my own color schemes, is because on their sheet. Oh no. Okay, well, the camera here has run out of room. Okay, I think we're back and alive here. I think. There we go. All right. I think we're back in it. Yeah. All right, we're back in it. Goodness sakes. All right. Where was I? Oh, I was gonna show this. So this is their rendition of it, which is like a yellowish, brownish basilisk, and we're going with a greenish. So isn't that cool to kind of see the renditions? Looks like they go just with the solid white color for the eyes though. I don't know what to do for our eyes here. I'm not too sure, honestly. Focus on my hand. Anyway. Cool. What should we do? What should we do? I think I'm gonna make the tongue. I don't know. I feel like the tongue needs to have more contrast. Yeah, I think the tongue needs more contrast, so I think we put white on the tongue. I think we go like a white bluish. Yeah, I think we go like white bluish. Or just blue. We might just go blue. Yeah, F it. F it, we're going blue. Blue tongue, blue tongue, blue tongue. Go blue tongue, because that sounds fun. See, I just put it on and I don't feel good about it. Don't feel good about it. I'll try to wipe off as much as I can, but tongue is a bit of a mess right now, which is okay. It's just I just gotta figure it out. So I thought I had like a lilac or something. I'm trying to see here. I do have this purple, alien purple. I might just add some white to it. Oh, I'm out of this white. Dang. Got mummy robes, which is like a little bit of brown white. We'll go some mummy robes. That's what we'll do. Sounds good to me. All right. Now, if you guys have any questions about stuff, or have any suggestions on how you think I should be going about this mini painting situation, please let us know in the comments. I mean, I think that a fun experience for this might be live streaming. I could see live streaming being that thing. Because then there's like live interaction, and it is kind of long form, or definitely is long form. So it's a little bit more interactive that way. But I also like the ability to edit this, and like I could speed it up. From what, maybe like, I don't know, if it's like an hour, or if it's like full-time 2 hours, maybe I cut it down to like an hour, you know, possibly. So, you know. All right. I was going to do, right, white. Just trying to get underneath the tongue. Getting underneath the tongue, on the sides and the crevices, all the good stuff. You know, and if you're out here and you're not really interested in miniature painting, I just want to thank you for coming out and kind of watching this video. You know, I really appreciate you guys out there, and it's something that is so cool to be able to kind of interact with you guys and show you guys something new, maybe something you wouldn't normally be watching. Maybe kind of show a more nerdy side of myself to you, and you know, maybe open your eyes up a little bit to the Dungeons and Dragons world. You know, I think D&D is one of my favorite, if not my favorite game to play with friends. I think number one is probably World of Warcraft all time. But no one's really playing World of Warcraft anymore, so that kind of defeats the purpose. So I would say Dungeons and Dragons is probably my next favorite game. It's just so fun, you know. I'm so thankful that our buddy, our friend of the show, Josh Lusso, allowed me to play my first game ever with their group, and that what a blessing that was, to kind of like just show us the ropes and kind of just be like, this is like the general idea of what it's like. And I know that for me and Bree, my wife, we just instantly fell in love. We're just like, oh my gosh, like this is so fun. And it got Bree to DM, you know, her own game. You know, she's the DM of our game now. I think I gotta angle this. Yeah. That. So that really turned her on to, you know, running her own D&D game, and that game's just been an absolute blast. Gotta give kudos to my wife. She's a great DM. She plans really well, and the story she's written has been really fun. I think I would do a good job at DMing. I'm just kind of more like overwhelmed / scared to do it. Weirdly enough, I don't know why I'd be scared, but I don't want to mess up. I guess it's kind of the thing. Like, I don't want to give a bad experience for people when they would expect like something good out of me, you know. that's my problem with D&D. And I know that if I like asked the players, I'd be like, well, you know, if I had messed up, like, how would you guys feel? They'll be like, oh, we don't care, we're just happy to play. Like, I'm sure that's what they would say, but I don't know. It's like with most things, if I do something, I want to do it well, you know? And it seems like Dungeons and Dragons, preparing for a Dungeons and Dragons game, like, feels like overwhelming, you know? It's just, maybe it's not as bad as I think, but it's at least the perception. All right. Got some nice whitish teeth. Looking scary. Cool. And the eyeballs, I think we're gonna do white. Straight up white. Yeah, see, I like to paint right here. That's my spot right here. So I gotta have the camera work with that. Otherwise, you guys are never gonna see me painting close up. I think we do kind of like just white eyes, I think. Because if I do like irises, it's gonna look all like googly eye-y. Although I might be able to do it, but cool. So white eyes. That's what we got so far. Cool. Trying to see if there's any other details I want to do that I missed. I can see right now there's a couple spots of purple that I missed on this tail. Or on the bridge of his back. Couple little spots here and there. No problem. We're gonna go back, clean up any purple spots. Any purple spots. Hello, hello. There. 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 Look how much I'm having to kind of clean up at the end. Like, this is just kind of like unavoidable stuff you gotta do. You're gonna forget little parts, and once the paint dries, you'll be able to see little mistakes better. We're almost to the awesome fun part. Not that this part isn't fun, but almost to the ultimate awesome. All right, now we're gonna touch up this purple for sure. Spots over here that I missed, or they got rubbed off because my stupid fingers were all over them. Okay, looking good. I will say I used to not really enjoy, like when I was a kid, I enjoyed like animals and stuff like that. But once I became an adult, I didn't really care too much about animals, and like I wasn't really interested in them. But I feel like the more I played D&D, I got like interested in it, weirdly. It's kind of strange. You know, like druids can transform into animals and stuff like that, and now that I'm painting them, you know, paying attention to the anatomy of them and stuff like that, and kind of how like the underside of a snake is more like, you know, light, and you know, with this basilisk, it's the same kind of idea, like you make the inside a little bit lighter, you know. Which I wish this would focus on it. Bummer. Anyway. Okay. I think we're at the point where I wanted to be. So we have these two pieces, and now we have to decide on the wash. So, the wash. We have some washes here. And we've got gray, we've got umber, we've got a green. This is gold, that's not a wash. We've got a blue wash and a black wash and a red wash. So, if I were a betting man, I would probably say blue wash is probably really good here. So the blue wash would make this guy look more aqua-y. But I have this other one. It's called Agrax Earthshade, and this thing is famous for being the one size fits all, one size solves. This thing solves all your problems. It's kind of what people kind of make this thing out to be, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. I mean, it's pretty much an all-star. I'm not going to say it works for everything, but I'm going to tell you what, if you're making a monster, yeah, it does pretty good. No, I think there's a little bit of detail here on this, on the chest. I want to kind of help out a little bit, so I'm going to get some white, some mummy robes. And I'm going to combine it with that. You know what? I'm not going to do that until we'll do highlights. Yeah, never mind. We're good. We're good. We're good. All right. So I'm thinking Agrax Earthshade is what we're going to go with. It's a brown. It's going to make it all darker. Going to make it a little bit more earthy, as you could imagine. But this is the next part. So basically, you're going to want to get a bigger brush like this, compared to this, which is like super thin. See how much bigger this one is. You grab this big boy brush, and we're just gonna go pretty freaking nuts. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. You lop a bunch on, and I like to start from the top and then just kind of go. And just kind of go nuts here. The idea here is that I'm trying to get this Earthshade into crevices where shadows would be, and shadows would exist. So that means, I mean, this is all very like scaly. So all the scales need it. The edges need it. Basically, everything needs this on it. What you don't want to do is make sure it pools too much, because it's going to take forever to dry, and I might darken it too much. You guys can kind of start seeing why I wanted to start very like neon, very light. It's because this Agrax really darkens it a lot, right? As you can kind of tell here. The difference between it wet and dry is very, very big though, I will say. So it might look like I'm ruining it, or you guys are like, oh, freaking ruined. Like you're going too nuts on it. And you know, that might very well be the case. But for me, I like my monsters dirty and dingy and kind of like just darker. And so we are going dark with this. We are going a dark. So as you can see, I don't know if you can see, now it's become really dark. It still has that green aspect to it, but it's become like 20%, like 20 shades darker, just because of the Agrax Earthshade. So we're gonna take this, we're gonna let it dry. Goodness, so hard to let it dry when it doesn't have a stand. All right, now the next part is this beast. I'm thinking I might want to do a bigger brush because that was, I mean, that was okay. It's just, I think I want a bigger brush. So, bigger brush right here. Here we go. We're gonna do the same thing, go nuts on it. Here we go. Wish me luck. And so, okay, so basically, you might think, like I said, you might be like, oh man, you ruined it. It's like way too dark now. And you're right, it is too dark at this point. But the point of this all is to get the shades done, like the shadows done. Because the next step after all of this is going to be bringing back those highlights. That's why we have the wet palette, to make sure we still have those colors accurate and make sure that we have those available to us to revisit, right? So I'm just making sure it's not pooling too much in places where I don't want it to pool, and where it's pooling, it's where I want it to pool. Yeah, I want it to be a little nasty, you know what I mean? When you grab a dry brush and you bring it to like pooling waters, it's always going to pull back some of that liquid. So when it comes to doing this wash technique, you know, if it's a little too much, I can still bring it back to some degree. So as of right now, it's looking like this. Now I'm going to let it probably dry, because I'm choosing to let it pool in a lot of different interesting spots. And it's going to be a bit of a... it's going to be like a very contrasty take on this guy, for sure. So... let's let that dry, and I will get back to it when it's done drying. Oof. However the heck we're gonna do that. Let this dry. Oof. It's crazy. Doug Brooks. All right. All right, I'll be right back, and I'm going to wash my hands. That'll give it some time to dry, and then we'll hit it with highlights, and then we'll be done. Be right back. Okay. All right, I'm back from washing my hands. Let's see here. How we're looking. Still pretty wet. I think I'm going to still leave it this way. Oh, I've got a great idea. Okay. So I've got this Tic Tac stuff. Tack, ticky tack. So instead of having to like permanently like put this in, I'm gonna just put some ticky tack on the bottom here. Just stand it like this in its rightful hole. Hopefully it stays. Can't really see it. Shoot, just like this. Try to like put it in its hole. How is this supposed to stand up? I feel like it doesn't stand up very well. Okay. It's standing up. Looks a lot more gritty. Looks a lot more real. For sure. The lines and textures are a lot more accentuated. Look at that. Looks a lot better. So it's got some time to dry here. I'm gonna mess with the camera here to see if I can get it focusing correctly. It looks good here. Looking good though. Looks good. Whoa! Does not want to stay, does it? Alright. Darn it, doesn't want to dry, or it doesn't want to stay. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to super glue it to make it stay, for sure. Alright, well since I gotta kind of get moving on this movie, I'm just gonna move on to the highlighting part of this. The highlight part of this is basically where I think light should hit, so the topmost part. So on this back part, on this back piece, let me move the camera in. In this back piece, it's gonna be these top edges up here, and so I'm gonna try out the base color. If the base color is not light enough, then we'll try something else. So I don't think that's light enough, so I think we need to add white. Unfortunately, because I like working off of like pure colors. Okay. And then add just a little bit of purple. We're mixing colors. I'm just taking the purple that we had before, and I'm adding it to the white. And that looks like a good purple. So we'll be using that for the highlights. So this is a lot of me trying to think what it should look like. So yeah. The highlighting part is definitely a... So the way I'm doing it is I'm doing it based on like art and kind of like how light hits things. And so if you don't have like an idea of like how this should work, what you could do is you could do the dry brush technique, which is basically where you get a dry brush and you put some really like lighter color. You put this like light purple on it, and then you drag your brush across a paper towel and get almost all of it off. And then you'd lightly be scraping it on the tops of your model. And that would be how you would get highlights the quick and easy way. The way I'm doing it is I'm manually painting in all the highlights, which is, in my opinion, better because then I get to control like how each ridge looks. You know what I mean? Like each ridge can look its own way, and you know, I have more control is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Like I know that the top here is going to be getting hit by light more, so I really want to make sure this lighter purple's up there. So it looks good. I mean, it's looking good. You can kind of see that more, that contrast, right? From the dark recesses to the tops of the mountains. I would call these the mountains. It's just a very like satisfying piece of art. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have to like carve this out of wood and then paint it. Like they already modeled it for me. You know, so I'm good on that front. I just need to paint it. So yeah, I just really enjoy being able to control how it looks on like the edges and the shadows and all that jazz. I think it's just such a fun and a very accessible thing to do. You know, if you're looking for an artistic outlet. So I'm a graphic designer, you know, for my living. And you know, after, you know, 8 years, you know, it is very fun, and obviously I find so much enjoyment in graphic design, but it's good to mix it up to kind of expand your creative horizons, you know what I mean, every once in a while. Okay, cool. That looks good. That's what I want for the rest of this. So that can sit there. And I'm only hitting the purples for now, you know. Man, this guy got crazy. This guy got super crazy looking with this, with that whatchamacallit, the wash. That wash really is a magical aspect of this. So now I get to bring out all those highlights back into our world, in this basilisk world. Just hitting the tops, just the tops, with this nice light plum. Is how I'd kind of put it, light, like a light plum. You know? I like how it looks next to the green. And I can show that dry brushing technique in another video easily, because you know, it's a very easy thing to do. It's very fun, like instant gratification kind of technique. And as a beginner, you know, I advise doing that if you want, like, you know, good results with like minimal effort, you know. So yeah, I would dry brush if you're just learning. But at the same time, coloring your own highlights like this is really dope as well. I mean, look at that, dude. That looks awesome. I don't know if it's picking up very well, but in person, it looks really good. So let's do the ear here, or whatever these are, not ears. We'll do this side next. Perfect. You're just kind of hitting the tops. Think of it as like little mountains, and you know, think of it as like little mountains, and just the summits, you know, just the highest points are being hit. And we're just highlighting and highlighting and highlighting. We want to allow the mid purple and the dark purple to kind of breathe on its own. That's what we're trying to do here. The tops are nice and bright. So that's where the sun would hit, right? Oh yeah. Great. Good, good, good. It is looking pretty decent. For my first time back in like a year, I am pretty decently happy with this. I have yet to have a mini where I'm like, oh, this sucks. So I'm pretty easy to please when it comes to mini painting, to be fair. Go. Just carrying along the edges. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I love Cool. That looks good. Yes, sir. Then we're just gonna get the side fins. Right there. Messed up a little bit there. I'll wipe it off with my finger if I do it right away. Try again. And we hit it. Good. Perfect. So since we did like, we kind of went nuts on the wash, I'm gonna go over with white. Gonna get those whites back in there, like with the teeth and the eyeballs. The teeth and the eyeballs shouldn't have much work here. It's just getting like the very tip and the outside of the teeth with white. Just bring that contrast back to the teeth. All right, yep, these are teeth and not chocolate bars, you know. These are white, so we want them to look whitish. Obviously, monsters aren't gonna have amazing, you know, dentists, but we do want them to have decent looking teeth as far as like identifiable teeth. So that's why we're just gonna do like just the tips of them to be distinguishable, like, oh yeah, the light's hitting there, and okay, they are dirty, but they are teeth still, you know. That's what we want to happen here. Perfect. All right, and then we're gonna get good old mummy robes, I think it was called. Mummy robes. Woohoo! What a name for a paint. We're gonna get mummy robes, and we're gonna go over these eyeballs. We're gonna layer them. There you go. That looks really good, actually. Very happy with that, actually. Cool. I'm actually pretty darn happy with that. Now the finishing touches is the main green part of it. We're gonna do a highlight method, which is dry brushing. And it's because I don't want to spend forever on this. I've been almost recording for 2 hours now, and I think I ran out of space on my camera over here once already, so I needed to clear that. So let's make this quick. Let's get a nice, what you want to do is you want to get a flat brush. Something like this. It's a flat brush. Then you're going to want that green that we had originally. And that green is debatably drying right now because it's almost been 2 hours. So we can kind of rejuve because we only worked off of 2 colors. And I know it's this green, this jungle green, and this void shield blue. So we can remake that really easily, just like that. Like to have more blue than green in this mixture, so that's what I'm gonna kind of go for here. I want it to be a little bit interesting, aquamarine-ish, you know. And then we get this paper towel. This is dry brushing, so you want to make sure you have a flat head or flat brush, and you want to basically get rid of almost all of it. Kind of see how it's almost gone all the way. And then you're going to lightly go against the grain or on top of whatever you're trying to highlight. So I'm trying to highlight this green part of the basilisk, and I'm just trying to lightly, I'm kind of like pulling up to kind of give a little bit of leeway, but this is basically I'm only trying to hit the tops of his scales here. So that gets a little bit more highlights. A little bit more contrast on the higher parts. So I'm quite happy with that side. We're not going for some amazingly stark difference. We're going just for very subtle highlights here. You know, that's the intent. I don't expect anything crazy to happen here. I just expect a little bit of highlights to come and be brought out here. Which is all we can really hope for. Without having to hand dimple each scale, which is not what I'm looking for right now. I'm looking to be done with this sooner than later. So, okay. You know, it almost feels like half the time when you're doing dry brushing, it's not doing anything, but it does it very subtly, just the tops. It's a very interesting technique because it's very easy, but it is also easy to get carried away, if that makes sense. Because you can just be doing this and say, oh yeah, well, I don't see much happening, and then just keep going, you know, for a long time, and then all of a sudden it's like very, very, very bright on the top. And because you're stroking it across the top of it, if you're not being light about it, you can kind of dull down the shadows if you don't watch out and if you don't lift up. So that looks good for me. I like how that looks there. I don't want to go too crazy on it, but you can kind of see the shadows and the highlights and the midtones. They're all very defined now. This is a very menacing basilisk at this point versus that other basilisk which we saw was kind of golden child, kind of happy-go-lucky. So alright, so using the same exact brush, because I don't mind if it looks a little green or bluish, I'm going to grab some mummy robes, and that's what we're going to do on the front. We're going to mummy robe it. I'm going to need more mummy robe. Mummy robes. Alright, throw that down. It's because I don't want to wet it. I don't want to wet the brush. The moment I wet the brush, the moment the paint will go into the crevices. We want it to be a dry brush. So we're going to brush out the mummy robes. We're going to very lightly try to get the tops of this. This is exactly what I wanted. This is looking exactly right. And see here. Can't really see. I'm going to be showing pictures of this. Hopefully close-ups of this. Awesome. I think that looks good. Okay, cool. And then we'll just do the same thing that I just did for the back end, which honestly isn't very visible. So this really doesn't matter. But we do it anyway. Because completionist things. Okay, I do like this brush for the dry brushing aspect of this. It's really nice. That's why I'm like wetting it, but also re-drying it. Because I want to use it for the green. I totally forgot to do the green on the back part. So let me do that. Okay. Brushing it out. Could be a little drier. Whatever. Yeah, looks good. Honestly, very happy with that. Yeah, that looks good. Cool. Okay, and I guess the last bit is painting the... So the question is, do I paint this or not? That's the question. Do I paint this? I'm thinking I do. I think I paint it with a blue wash. I think I paint it with this and we call it good. So let's do that. Just gonna get a big boy brush here and go nuts on it. Which with washes, by the way, if you don't shake them up a lot, they're gonna be really shiny when you put them on. I made that mistake once and I was like, why is it so shiny? Is it not dry? But it was dry. It just, the ink and the water had been separated. So I'm guessing the ink is super shiny if it doesn't have water to be absorbed or something. I don't know. All right, let's try this out. Yeah, okay, this is gonna work. It's just basically making it a little blue. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, that works. Cool. I haven't done this before, but it seems like it's working out. Painting a translucent object seems kind of dumb, but because it's a wash, I think it works just fine. It's actually looking pretty darn good. I just want it to look more like water. Don't want it to be clear, you know? Might be wrong. You know, when this dries out, it might look like trash. But as of right now, it looks good. Well, and at some point too, I'm gonna run out of ways to like hold it. So I might just be done eventually. So I'm just out of space. Okay. Oh my gosh. All right, that looks kind of okay. Looks kind of crazy, but it looks kind of okay. So hopefully that dries up right. Look at my hands. Oh my gosh. Basically playing with ink. But yeah, basically that should do well. It looks good. It'll be kind of cloudy, a little bit more solid. I don't know if coming across with, you know, white and like highlights is a good idea, but I think that looks good for now. We're gonna call it there. I'm gonna probably stop recording for now, and then once we have it all dried, then we can kind of go over and get some close-ups and I think some final thoughts. So I will be back soon. Here is the mini in its beauty. I don't have the best lighting for it, but it's looking, I'm pretty happy with it, honestly. I think the little like details and stuff like that look really cool. I'm actually really happy with how the waves turned out. I think his face looks really cool. You can clearly see the highlights and the shadows and all of that all together. Yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I'm gonna take a few probably photos of it in some better light to show off those details a little bit better. But hey, not too shabby, I don't think. Yeah. Okay, and this is a little bit later this evening. It might look a little different. But this is the end result here. You can see it compared to the original, which is just the regular gray. model, but you can tell that, you know, like I said at the beginning of the video, it was going to get a lot more grungy and a little bit more monstrous, and I think it turned out. It's not perfect by any means, but as an amateur painter like I am, you know, I accept this, and I'm happy with this to a degree. I could have spent a lot more time on it. There's obviously parts of this where, you know, I would love to go back and clean up and improve on. I would love to experiment with a blue wash instead of the Agrax Earth shade that I used. I think that would have played maybe a little bit better, but I'm still happy with it. I like how it looks. But yeah, it looks cool. If you made it through this whole video, kudos to you guys. Amazing. Like for real, if you guys made it through the end of the video, message me on Twitter, send me a DM on Twitter, and I will legit enter you into a raffle to win a Cloud9 piece of merch. Because I get a lot of merch and stuff like that, and if you guys legit made it to the end and watched the whole thing or most of it, you guys deserve an award. So anyway, okay, that's it. This is the Basilisk from Critical Role. It was super fun, and if you guys enjoyed it, please give it a like. If you didn't, I totally get it. It was really long, very different from our usual content. So awesome. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.